everyone. I am so glad that you could make it to yet another Read Aloud. I hope you and your family are doing safe at home. Talking about family, I must admit that I have actually been enjoying spending all of this time with my family at home. However, if I were being honest, I would also have to admit that I do miss my friends. I miss meeting them, I miss sharing stories with them, I miss laughing with them, and I just miss spending time with them. I'm sure a lot of y'all also feel the same way. It could be friends who live in your same building, or it could be friends that you used to meet on a regular basis during school. Now, due to the special circumstances we are in, we are not able to meet any of them, and that can be hard. Today's story also talks about friendship and how friendship can actually survive a lot of time and distance. So, without any further ado, let's get straight to our story for today. Amy and Louise by Libby Gleeson and Freya Blackwood. Amy and Louise. Amy and Louise by Libby Gleeson and Freya Blackwood. Amy and Louise built towers as high as the sky. They dug holes deep enough to bury bears, and they saw magical creatures in the clouds. When Amy was in the sandpit and Louise was on the swing, she called to him across the yard with the special word her mum taught her. Cooey! Louie! Louis always came to play. When Louis was in the dressing up corner and Amy was with the Play-Doh, he called to her across the room with the same special word. Cooey! Amy! Amy always came. And when they were at home, they called to each other across the fence. Cooey, Louie! Cooey, Amy! One of them would soon come climbing through the gap with secrets to share. But one day, Amy and her family moved a long, long way away. To the other side of the world. Louis stopped building towers, digging holes and staring at clouds. He no longer called anyone across the yard, the room or the fence. He thought about Amy every day and every night. In the place where Amy was, there was nowhere to dig holes or build towers, and the clouds held only raindrops. She thought about Louise every night and every day. If I call Amy really loudly, she'll hear me, won't she? Louis asked his mum. His mum shook her head. Amy is too far away, she said. When you are awake in the day, she is asleep at night. If I call Amy really, really loudly, she'll hear me, won't she? He asked his dad. His dad shook his head. Amy is half the world away, he said. When she is awake in the day, you are asleep at night. If I call Amy with the loudest call anyone could ever do, she'll hear me, won't she? He asked his grandma. Maybe, his grandma said. You can only try. So, Louis spread his arms as wide as he could and threw his head back. Cooey! Amy! His cry rang out across the yard, across the street, and past the edge of town. Louis fell back and stared up at the sky, where clouds were making strange seahorses and wild, wild dragons. Across the ocean, in a city where tall buildings stretched to the sky, Amy woke and came sleepily to breakfast. I had a lovely dream, she said. I dreamt about Louis, and he called me. And that brings us to the end of our story. I love stories like these. These kind of stories about friendship make me feel so warm and fuzzy on the insides. It reminds me how important it is to have friends and maintain friendships, especially as we grow older. Unlike Amy and Louise, who did not have resources to talk to each other when Amy moved away, we are in a position to keep in touch with our friends. Especially now, in these special circumstances, it is so important for us to just drop in a message or call and check in on our friends. So I really do hope that this story inspires you to get in touch with your friends. Let's talk about the two main characters of our story, Amy and Louise. They're such young children, but they still feel so many emotions, especially strong emotions like sadness and loneliness. We notice these emotions in Louise when Amy moves away to another city. Even Amy feels lonely and sad without her best friend. Do you ever feel such strong feelings? Strong feelings other than happiness, joy, and excitement? Do you ever feel sad or lonely or angry or helpless? Are these emotions or feelings wrong? Well, we know that these emotions are not wrong. Everyone around us feels these extreme emotions. But take Louise for example. What does he do when he feels sad about Amy leaving? He talks to his parents and even his grandmother. He shares with them what he is feeling in his heart. And does this help him feel better? I think it does. So, for today's activity, I need you all to tap into your feelings and your emotions, and not just the good ones. Nowadays, since we're all in these special circumstances, we are all going through different feelings. Every day is different from the other, even though we're stuck at home. Some days we feel happy, while some days we feel sad. Some days we may be angry and irritable. All of these feelings are all right to have. But you must channel them well. You must express them well to whoever you are expressing them to. So for today's activity, I thought we could try our hand at a new technique called mind mapping. Some of y'all may have come across this term either in the classroom or somewhere else. For others, let me tell you what mind mapping is all about. Mind mapping is an easier way to express ourselves through pictures and words. I know that sometimes it gets a little difficult for us to express ourselves using words and sentences. So, to make it easier for each and every one of you to express your feelings, I thought we could explore mind mapping. Now, in mind mapping, we take a central idea or thought and then think of other thoughts and ideas which are connected to that central idea. For example, take apple. If apple is my main idea, what are the different things connected to an apple that you can think of? I can think of fruit, I can think of Isaac Newton, I can think of gravity, I can think of doctor, I can think of health, etc. etc. For our activity today, we are going to keep you as the center of our mind map. You are going to put yourself in the center and think of all the other thoughts, ideas and expressions that you would like to share. I know this might sound a little confusing, but I think a mind map is easier to understand while we're doing it. So let me show you an example of a mind map. I will put myself at the center of this mind map and I shall express all the different thoughts, ideas and feelings that I have through this mind map. For today's activity, you don't need much. You just need a paper or even a book in which you can write, a pencil or a pen. So let's get right to our activity. Alright, so I have all the materials that I require for my activity. Please feel free to use what is available to you. If you have colors, sketch pens, or anything that will really bring color to your mind map, please do use it. I have used a plain paper because it's easier and nicer to make a mind map on that. So I have already created my mind map. So first things first, you will have to put your central idea in the center of your paper. Now, the central idea of our mind map is me, myself. So, I have put me, myself in the center of my paper. Now, I will think of the different emotions that I have felt since the lockdown has begun. I have felt emotions like happiness. I have felt lazy. I have felt anxious or helpless. I have also felt angry at times. Now, after you write down at least a few emotions, please feel free to write down how many ever emotions you want to. After you've done that, you will take one emotion and think about it further. Think about it deeper. For example, happy. What makes me happy? Or what made me happy during the lockdown? So, at the beginning of the lockdown, I was really happy that we didn't have any more school, that I didn't have any homework to do, and most importantly, I had no exams and early vacations. I was also very happy that everyone is at home and we got to spend time together and play games together. Now notice I haven't written full sentences. I have used words and I have also used pictures to make my mind map more interesting and easy to understand. Like that, I have expanded on different emotions. Lazy, for example, too much TV makes me feel lazy. I sometimes feel lazy to help my mum or my elders around the house in doing the chores. I feel lazy to wake up in the morning. I have also drawn a few images to make it more interesting. Just like that, I have done the same for the other emotions also. So when you make your mind map, please feel free to include as many pictures as you want and use words, if not sentences, to express your feelings. A mind map is super useful to help you think more clearly and understand better. So please do use this opportunity to sit down and think for yourself how you are feeling during this lockdown. And also remember that none of these feelings are permanent. All of these feelings will change, be it happiness or sadness. So, I hope you all try your hand at this activity. So that was my mind map. I really enjoyed creating my mind map and expressing my feelings and thoughts through it. Now remember, if you feel a little unsure of expressing yourself through words, feel free to use images and pictures to express yourself. For the children who are in older grades and would like to use words and sentences to express themselves, please feel free to write in the form of a note or write in paragraphs and share with me what you are feeling, what you are going through. I really enjoyed reading this story. It helped me realize that other people also feel the feelings and emotions that I feel, and it is all right to feel those feelings and emotions. I hope you all try your hand at this activity and try to express yourselves through image or through words. Remember, if you do try this activity, please do take a picture and send it to me via email at sharonschool.library@gmail.com. Well, that brings us to the end of yet another read aloud. I hope to see all of y'all again soon. Until then, see you.
Thank you for participating in the activity last week. Here are some of the images sent by students.